Hi everyone, I wanted to do a video tutorial for you on my pop and cut card base die box that I've made. So you've hopefully seen some other videos of mine where I've shown you how to make gift card holders, also some other little treat carriers. This time I want to show you how to create a box using the pop and cut card die base as a starting point. And the reason I really love it is because it creates a fantastic little closure system at the top of your box. Okay, so something unique, something different. It's about a 4-inch box when you're finished with it, and it basically closes by using that mechanism that's on that die base to lock in that lid, and then just with a little handle there you can open up your box. So let's get started and I'll show you how to create this one. Now you will need 2 pieces of A4 cardstock, guys. Sorry I couldn't get it out of one. Those that know me, I try to be as efficient as I can when it comes to card, but I just couldn't do a box without cutting into 2 pieces of cardstock. So what you will need is you will need 1 piece of card, cut so that you have your card base done. And then with this one, I've just gone ahead and stamped some flowers from the Secret Garden stamp set on it, and that's going to obviously be the outside of my box, so you will need that. The other thing you will need is an additional piece of cardstock cut at, let me see, I've got it written here, 4 3/4 by 8 3/4. Okay, so they're the 2 pieces that you'll need, and you'll get your box out of this. Okay, so let's start with the die piece that you've cut. Now this is probably one of the most complicated things that I've made with the die base, but if you sort of think about it logically, hopefully you'll be able to get through it with me. The first thing you need to do is you need to go and cut 4 1/4 inches off the end of this this die cut out from the flat end. So let me do that. Okay guys, so I've cut 4 1/4 inches from this flat edge to here. So that's 4 1/4 inches, and then you're just left with the other piece. You'll need both pieces, but let's start with the short piece first. I'm calling this a short piece for obvious reasons. Short piece first, so put your longer section to the side. You will need that, don't throw it away. Get your scoreboard in here, and with the edge that's cut, usually when we're doing most of the scoring that I've done with the pop and cut die base, I score from this sort of flat end with the slots in it. This time for your box it's very different. We're going to turn it so that the cut edge is up on the left hand side of your scoreboard. So if you've got that in there, then you're not too bad. Now what we're going to score now is at 1/2 inch, then at 2 1/2 inches, and finally at 3 3/8 of an inch, and that's the 3/8 is just before the 3 1/2 mark. Okay, so that's the score marks that you'll need on your cut piece. So 1/2 inch, 2 1/2, and 3 3/8, and you'll notice that this 3 3/8 line is just prior to where those slots start in your card base. All right, so take that one out and put that to the side, and get your remaining long piece that you've cut off and put it again in the score tray so that your cut edge is on that left hand side. Now this time you're going to cut at 1/2 inch, score at 1/2 inch, and you're going to score at 2 1/2 inches. Okay, so that's all the scoring that you need to do on your cut pieces of cardstock. Cut die base. Okay, so while we've got this here, we'll go ahead and we'll score up our 4 3/4 by 8 3/4 piece of cardstock with the 8 and actually no, let's start by putting it with the 4 3/4 inch at the top. Is everyone with me? And then you're just going to score down at 1/4 inch on each side. So that's at 1/4 and 4 1/2. Okay, so then turn it so that the long piece, the 8 3/4, is in your score tray, and what you need to do is score it at 1/4 inch and at 2 1/4 of an inch. And I just find it easier to flip it to the other end and repeat that process. So 1/4 and 2 1/4. Okay, so that's all the scoring, and now it's just a matter of assembling our box, and I'll show you how to do that. So let's start with the piece of plain cardstock that we just finished scoring. What you want to do is you want to fold along these score lines that you've created. Okay, Okay, so there is a little bit of cutting that you do have to do, guys, so hopefully it's not too complicated and you can stay with me. What we've got here, what we've actually made here, is the base and the sides of our box, okay? So what we need to do is we need to create tabs on the sides of the box. And I angle my tabs. Anyone that knows anything, when I make boxes, I always create a little angle. So we've got little tabs on the sides of the box. This base of the box, we don't need this long tab here. So I'm just going to flip it over so I can see it a bit easier. And you're just going to cut off along that 1/4 inch score line that you made. So let me just do that. Okay, so we're just removing that long tab on the middle panel. So you've got 2 little tabs here. The other thing you need to do is we want just some little tabs on the top of our box as well. So there. And there. So basically all you're doing is creating tabs on those sides, removing that piece that's along the top there, and then just angling those top little corners there. So do the exact same thing for the other side. Okay guys, so once you've removed those little tabs from that long panel and you've got your little sort of tabs on these side pieces created, you're just going to put double-sided tape on those little tiny 1/4 inch side tabs. Okay, so that's all you really need to do to prep that piece. Put that to the side. Bring back in your 2 pieces that you've got from your die base. And basically all you're going to do is fold, for the shorter piece, fold these tabs to the inside, the first 2, and this last one where the slot is, you're actually going to fold it back and away from itself. So this is the front of your box. This is where the little lid comes in and catches that mechanism. So that piece is ready to go. And then this last one, you're just going to fold all those score lines in and in. And that's the back and the lid of your box, okay? So essentially your lid will fit into the slots that we've created here and here, like that, and that's the lid and the sides of your box, and then we've created the base and the other 2 sides from this piece. So let's put it together. So it's easier to start with, oh sorry, we need to put some double-sided tape before we put it together. On the bits that you've cut, guys, you're going to need double-sided tape on these 2-inch strips that you've got scored at the bottom edges, there and there, okay? So that's the only tape you need on those ones. So let's start with the shorter of the 2 pieces. You're just going to take off that double-sided tape. If we bring this back in, this is obviously the inside, and then you're just going to adhere this so that it should fit snugly, so that this sort of score line follows these score line that you've got there, because that's the sort of side of your box, like that. Okay, and then just to the other side, we're going to take this bit of tape off. Oops. And we're going to I'll turn it around because I'm using my right hand. Again, we're going to just line those score lines up. And basically what you've created, let's see if I can get a bit wider for you, is you've just created sort of like a big flat pack box, an open box. Okay, so that's it there. So now all we're going to do is assemble it. So it doesn't really matter where you start, but you're just going to take off the tabs, take off the tape from the tabs on the side, stick the box back up and the box front up, and I'll quickly do that. Okay guys, so the sides of your box are all up and in. Basically those other little tiny thin tabs that we left there, I just kind of left them as a little fold-in flap on my box, I felt that the lid sat a bit neater and flusher if it had little supports there. The last thing is that you're going to, I don't stick this front lid down because I let it open as well, but you do need to stick back the closure part, but you might just want to check that your lid closes. I hope it does, because otherwise you're going to have to start again, but it should fit nicely and neatly, guys, like that. And basically to stick these down, it's like the other gift card ones that I've done before. We're just going to use dimensionals under there. So just grab 2 dimensionals and pop one under there and one under there. You sort of want them beside the slits but not close to the slits. Take the backing off those dimensionals and fold that piece down so it sits flat like that. And the box will open and close, and there's your little slots to close your box into. There and there. Okay, So there's your Pop and Cuts card base box, which I think is super sweet. Now the hardest thing about all of this, guys, is the decorating. Again, everything I create seems to be easy to make it, but then decorating does my head in. I do have a little bit of designer series paper that's cut at 4 1/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches for a lining in your box if you like. Now the other thing that I do, and you've seen on this one, is I created a little loop to open the box with. Basically all you're going to do there is find a bit of decoration. I'm going to use one of the framelits, the floral framelits, as a topper on my box here. And again, I just love how everything with Stampin' Up seems to somehow, by magic, I'm sure it's pre-designed that way, fits and matches all the sizing is fantastic. Then all I'm going to do is I put one of those floral framelits on there. I'm going to get my paper piercing tool and I'm just going to put a hole in the front edge here, not through your fingers preferably, and basically just going to put a little bit of little loop of Baja Breeze ribbon underneath the back side there. Okay, so I've helped secure that ribbon in place with just a little antique brad. So that just gives you a nice little loop so that you can open and close your box easily. And then just put a decoration on the top. And I think I'm going to use one of these crazy flowers. I don't know how good it looks, but let's, I'll glue it down and I'll show you the pictures of this on my blog when I'm finished. Just some loops and a bit of a crazy thing there. I hope you enjoy this box, guys. It is, I started out by saying it is really the hardest thing that I've created, but in saying that, the hardest thing I've created with the Pop and Cuts die base, but in saying that it's still not super hard, and I hope you can follow my instructions and make some of these fantastic, easy, quick, smart looking little boxes for yourself.